The chandelier over Lola Pate's head looked like a frozen waterfall, every crystal drop worth more than everything she owned. Across the table, Aries Walker pushed a cream folder toward her. The Silver Walker Group logo gleamed on the cover. $500,000. He said. His tone was flat, like he was reading a weather report instead of offering to save a life. Wire transfer in full once you sign. 1 year as my stand-in. You will imitate Surya in public and in private when needed. Schedule is in the back. Lola's fingers tightened around her water glass. She saw her brother Owen's thin wrist with the hospital band, the pale green of his room, the doctor saying, transplant, and no coverage. She opened the folder. Legal phrases jumped out at her. No emotional entanglement. No unauthorized physical contact. No overstepping boundaries. Section 8. The stand-in agrees not to fall in love with Mr. Walker and acknowledges that any perceived romantic attachment will be considered a breach of contract. Lola snorted before she could stop herself. Is this a contract, or a bad fan fiction script? She asked. Aries's gray eyes sharpened. It is a clear business agreement. You read it. You asked your lawyer if it was enforceable. You came here anyway. I came here because my brother is running out of time. She shot back. Big difference. His jaw flexed, but he stayed calm. You get a guaranteed surgery, and the best team in the country. I get 1 year of not having to answer questions about why Surya is gone. We both get what we want. Before she could answer, the side door opened. A woman glided in on impossible heels, silk dress hugging her figure, diamonds catching the light. Her hair fell in perfect waves. She looked like someone sculpted her out of old money and good lighting. Lola Pate. She guessed silently. Meet the ghost you are supposed to be. The woman's dress matched the one hanging in the garment bag on the chair, down to the shade of champagne gold. Aries. The woman murmured, eyes going wide and practiced hurt as soon as she saw Lola. Who is she? Why is she wearing my dress? Miranda. He said, moving automatically to her side. His hand hovered near her elbow, protective. This is Euro. Nobody. Miranda cut in. Her gaze swept over Lola's thrift store boots. You promised you would never replace me, and now there is this girl at our table. Replace. The word hit like a slap. Lola's chest burned. She thought of Owen's crooked grin and the 9-digit number on the hospital bill. She pushed back her chair and stood. For the record, she said. This dress is a rental. I am not here to replace anyone. I am here because life is expensive and the universe is rude. Lola. Aries warned. She ignored him, flipping through the pages again. No emotional entanglement, no touching, no overstepping. She said. Cute. I have conditions too. Aries's brows rose. Miranda looked offended that anyone else was talking. Condition 1. Lola said. Overtime pay. You drag me to a gala past midnight, you pay double. Condition 2. You do not own my free time. I still work my bakery job. You do not tell me where to go or who to see when I am off the clock. Condition 3. At the end of the year, we are strangers. No late-night guilt calls, no surprise visits, no emotional leftovers. We sign, we do the job, we walk. She is ridiculous. Miranda snapped. Throw her out. Aries did not look at Miranda. You are refusing $500,000? He asked softly. Because you do not like the terms? I am refusing to sell my soul wholesale. Lola replied. If all you want is a puppet, find someone else. She shoved the folder toward him. It hit his chest, then dropped to the table. He took his time picking it up, smoothing the edges. Condition 1, approved. He said. Overtime at twice the base rate. Condition 2, approved, with the requirement that my security team can reach you. Condition 3. He hesitated, eyes unreadable. Approved. He finished. At the end of 1 year, we walk away. Lola blinked. She had expected him to explode, not negotiate. So that is it? She asked. You are not going to yell? Have me escorted out by men in suits? I do not shout in restaurants. He said. And I do not discard competent people just because they are irritating. He offered her a pen. Her stomach twisted. Sign and Owen lives. Refuse and go back to praying that GoFundMe and double shifts would stretch far enough. She took the pen. Miranda's hand shot out and grabbed her wrist. You think you can just become me? Miranda hissed. The sweet voice was gone, replaced by steel. He will see through you. Lola pried her fingers off one by one. I do not want to be you, she said. I want my brother to live. She signed. Aries's gaze flickered. Welcome to the role, he said. From tonight on, you are Surya in public. No. Lola said quietly. From tonight on, I am Lola in a costume. Do not get it twisted. His lips almost twitched. Miranda laughed, brittle. You will regret this. Lola did not answer. Her phone buzzed in her bag. A photo from her best friend Mia popped up, showing Owen in his hospital gown giving a shaky thumbs up beside a cup of bad coffee. He says he is fine, the text read. Also says you are banned from crying. Lola's eyes stung. She signed the back page, feeling like she was both betraying and saving herself. Then she typed a quick message under the table. He is getting his surgery, she wrote. I signed the end of the world. She hesitated, then added tell him his idiot sister just sold herself to a walking iceberg. At least the iceberg pays on time. The Walker mansion in the Hamptons was all glass and clean lines, a magazine spread come to life. Lola stood in the foyer with her battered suitcase, and felt like she had tracked dirt onto the clouds. A woman in a pencil skirt approached with military precision heels and a face that said she had seen it all. You must be Miss Pate, she said. I am Karen, Mr. Walker's house manager. We will handle your transformation. Transformation, Lola repeated. So I am a car in a detail shop. Karen did not smile. Wardrobe fitting, etiquette coaching, and voice work are scheduled for today, she said. Mr. Walker prefers efficiency. Lola followed her upstairs to a bedroom bigger than her whole apartment. The closet was full of designer dresses, shoes lined up like soldiers. If you see red bottom heels, send pics. Mia had told her on the phone. I need motivation to keep working overtime. Lola changed into a pale blue sheath dress and shoes that looked like torture devices. Walk, Karen said. Lola tried. After 3 steps she slammed her palm against the wall to avoid eating marble. Surya does not wobble, Karen said. Again, chin up, shoulders back. Surya can keep her ankles. Lola muttered, but she kept going. Next came voice practice. Karen played a video of Surya at a gala. The woman on screen laughed softly, every word slow and polished. You will copy her cadence, Karen said. Slower speech, lighter tone. Surya smiles with her eyes. Lola cleared her throat. Mr. Walker, she said in a higher, smoother voice. Thank you for your generous donation. She winced. I sound like a customer service bot. You will improve, Karen said. Remember, there is a performance bonus. Lola rolled her eyes. That is the worst phrase you could have chosen. By the end of the week, Lola knew which fork went with which course, how to glide instead of stomp, and how to laugh softly when rich men told unfunny jokes. She knew Surya's public backstory better than her own. Surya loved classical music. Lola loved playlists called Songs to Drown Out Capitalism. Surya drank champagne. Lola drank gas station coffee that tasted like survival. Some nights she collapsed on the huge bed and video called Mia, who camped out at the hospital with Owen. How is the iceberg? Mia asked, hair piled in a messy bun. Still emotionally constipated, Lola said. But sometimes there are cracks. She thought of the way Aries had corrected her posture during one training session, stepping close enough that she smelled cedar, and something darker, his hand hovering near her shoulder, without actually touching. You give too much away with your eyes, he had said. Surya learned to be unreadable. Good for her, Lola had answered. My eyes have rent to pay. Their first test came sooner than she wanted. The gala at the Met was a blur of lights, cameras, and expensive perfume. In the back of the town car, Lola's hands were damp. Remember, Karen said in her head. Smile. Follow his lead. If you do not know what to say, talk about art and charity. Ready? Aries asked. No, Lola said. But let us do it anyway. He actually huffed a quiet laugh. You will be fine. The driver opened the door. Aries stepped out first to a wave of cameras. Then he offered his hand. For the cameras, she told herself. Just for the cameras. His grip was warm and steady. She stepped out, dress shimmering under the lights. The crowd murmured. Aries and Surya. Someone breathed. I thought she disappeared. Lola walked at his side, the picture of a tragic icon. Inside, her heart tried to sprint out of her chest. A reporter shoved a mic toward them. Mr. Walker, she called. Rumor has it Surya died in the yacht explosion off Capri. Care to comment? Aries's jaw tightened. Rumors are rarely accurate, he said. Tonight is about funding art programs for kids who need them. The reporter swung to Lola. Surya, conspiracy theorists say you are a ghost. Any message for them? Lola forced a smile in Surya's cadence. If this is the afterlife, she said, it is severely underwhelming. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Aries gave her a startled glance, the ice in his expression cracking for a second. Inside, donors shook her hand, praised her resilience, asked invasive questions dressed up as concern. She nodded, smiled, repeated the lines she had memorized. At one point, an older board member peered at her. "You look different," he said. "Did you change something?" "My tolerance for nonsense," Lola almost said. Instead she replied, "Grief changes people. I finally decided to be kinder to myself." He accepted that and moved on. Later, near a quiet display, Lola slipped her heels off for 30 blissful seconds. "If Surya loved these shoes, she is a stronger woman than I am," she muttered. "You did well," Aries said from behind her. She jumped, then quickly slid her feet back into the shoes. "I did not fall on my face," she said. "I will add that to my resume." "You handled the yacht question," he said. "That was not in the script." "Congratulations," she replied. "You hired a stand-in with a brain." He studied her for a beat. "You remind me of her," he said quietly. Lola's stomach twisted. "I am not her," she said. "Do not start believing your own illusion." She walked away, spine stiff, leaving him alone with his ghosts. That night in her room, wiping off layers of makeup, she stared at the girl in the mirror. Without the diamonds, she was still Lola, messy ponytail, tired eyes, stubborn jaw. But now she knew what the world looked like from behind glass. Her phone buzzed with a photo from Mia. Owen grinned weakly at the camera, holding up a note that read, "Tell the iceberg thanks. Also tell him he still sucks." Lola laughed and sent it to Aries before she could overthink. "Surgery scheduled," she wrote. "He says you suck." "I agree, but thanks anyway." She watched the typing dots blink. "Tell him I accept his assessment," Aries replied. "And tell him he had better survive, or the contract is void." Lola shook her head, smiling despite herself. Maybe there was more to the iceberg than polished edges. 2 weeks later, the mansion was quiet. Lola sat on her balcony with her laptop open to bakery spreadsheets. Sweet Riot existed only as a Google Doc and a dream, but she was already tracking flower prices like a general planning a war. A new email notification popped up. Subject: Surya Katrai €, unauthorized use of name. The sender address had a British domain. Lola's pulse spiked. She clicked. "Dear Emitter Walker, it has come to my attention that my name and likeness are still being used at Walker Group events. I have not returned to New York since enrolling in my program in London 3 years ago. I have not authorized anyone to appear on my behalf. Please clarify." Attached was a passport scan. The real Surya stared back, same general face shape, but sharper eyes, a half-smile that looked genuinely amused instead of ethereal. "Well," Lola whispered. "That complicates things." She grabbed her laptop and headed for Aries's office. He sat behind his massive desk, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up. The ever-present aura of control looked frayed at the edges. "We have a problem," she said, pushing the laptop toward him. His eyes scanned the email. His expression went rigid. "How did this get to you?" he asked. "It came to your general inbox," she said. "Your assistant forwarded it to my training account. Probably thought I should know the person whose ghost I am wearing." His gaze darkened at that, but he kept reading. "She is threatening legal action," he murmured. "She says we are misusing her name." "Crazy idea," Lola said. "You could tell her the truth." "You think I should tell my ex that I hired a stand-in because I could not let go?" he asked. "You think that will play well in court?" "I think hiding behind fake ghosts has a shelf life," Lola shot back. "And that you are not the only one using Surya as a shield." She dropped a thin folder on the desk. She had been compiling it from snippets, public records, and late-night rabbit holes. "I started digging," she said. "If I am going to pretend to be someone, I want to know who she is." "You were not authorized," he began. "Get over it," she said. "Look at the dates. According to your own press releases, Surya attended events here while the real Surya was posting photos from London with time stamps that do not match." He flipped pages. Frowns deepened. "You think the photos are doctored?" he said slowly. "I think somebody has been double-casting this role," Lola said. "Someone who had access to your events and your father's files." "Miranda," he said. "Bingo," Lola replied. "She has been playing Surya for a while, maybe with your father's blessing, maybe not. Either way, she had access to private conversations and donor info." He pushed away from the desk and paced, anger finally cracking through the ice. "If this is true, she has been feeding my competitors for years," he said. "And I let her stand beside me at every major event." Lola hesitated, then added. There is more. She told him about the weird questions Miranda had asked at a recent dinner, how she had casually mentioned Owen's hospital, how her smile never reached her eyes. Guilt makes you do stupid things, Lola said gently. You know that. But this is not guilt. This is strategy. He stopped pacing. What do you know about guilt? He asked quietly. My parents died when I was 16, she said. Wrong place, wrong drunk driver. I spent a year wondering if I could have changed it, if I had called them earlier, if I had begged them to take a different route. I know what it is like to replay the same scene until it stops meaning anything. That is grief. What she is doing is using your grief. Silence sat heavy between them. The yacht off Capri, he said at last. I was supposed to be there. Surya wanted to celebrate. I stayed behind to take a call. The fuel leak that caused the explosion was an accident. Everyone tells me that. But if I had gone, maybe I would have noticed. Maybe. He trailed off. You punish yourself by keeping her alive in your head, Lola said. And Miranda walked in wearing the perfect mask. He looked older in that moment, like the weight he carried finally showed. So what now? She asked. You cannot keep using Surya's name. Not without her consent. And not while Miranda is still playing dress-up. Now we gather proof. He said. If I go public with accusations without evidence, Cohen will turn it on me. Good thing you already hired a professional listener, Lola said. People talk around stand-ins. They forget we are real. She outlined what she had overheard. Miranda bragging about scripts at events. Cohen's name dropped with a certain smugness. This is dangerous, he said. If Miranda realizes you are not on her side, she could go after Owen. She already threatened him, Lola said. If I back down now, she wins. That is not my style. You would risk yourself for my company? He asked. I would risk myself to stop her from using people like props, she said. And because if she goes down, she does not get to pull me with her. He studied her. You are infuriating, he said. But you are also necessary. Put that on my paycheck, she said. That night, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. We need to talk. Alone. Tomorrow. €M. Lola stared at the screen and smiled, sharp. Game on, she whispered. The Kafka copyright Miranda chose for their meeting had exposed brick, Edison bulbs, and latte art shaped like swans. It screamed, I am casual, and also $15 a drink. Lola went in wearing jeans, sneakers, and a hoodie. No makeup, no Surya styling, just herself. Miranda arrived 5 minutes late, sunglasses and leather jacket, and the air of someone who knew exactly how good she looked. I almost did not recognize you, Miranda said, sliding into the seat across from her. You look ordinary. That is the goal, Lola said. People ignore ordinary, makes it easier to hear things they should not say out loud. Miranda stirred her coffee delicately. You have more spine than the previous girls, she said. The first one cried. The second wanted free clothes. You stayed. That is why I let Aries pick you. Let him, Lola repeated. So this is your talent show. It is my game, Miranda said. I wrote most of the rules. She pulled out an envelope and laid it on the table. Inside is a smaller contract, she said. One job. You plant a listening device under the conference table at the shareholder summit next month. You get me everything Aries plans. In exchange, your brother's hospital bill vanishes into a shell company. No more collectors, no more worry. Lola's stomach turned. He already has a payment plan, she said. Miranda smiled. And I have pictures. She opened the envelope. Surveillance shots spilled out. Owen at the hospital, walking with an orderly, sleeping, laughing. A nurse's name tag visible. Rage burned hot and wild in Lola's chest. You have been following my family, she said, voice low. I have been protecting my investment, Miranda replied. You are not the only one who can pull records and make calls. Protecting, Lola repeated. By stalking my kid brother. Miranda leaned in, voice dropping. You were desperate enough to sell a year of your life, she said. Do not pretend you suddenly have principles now that you are standing in a nicer cage. Lola forced herself to breathe. I recorded your father, she said. Yesterday, on the phone, screaming about offshore accounts he swore were invisible. You want to hear? Miranda's eyes flashed. You are bluffing. Lola pulled out her phone and hit play. Cohen's voice poured out, furious and careless, using words like untraceable and regulators. Miranda grabbed the phone and stabbed the screen to stop it. You think that will save you? She hissed. If this goes public, Aries will weaponize you, then discard you when he is bored. I think everyone underestimates how much I love blowing up rigged games, Lola said. I grew up dodging eviction notices. Rich people yelling does not scare me anymore. Miranda stood abruptly. You had a choice, she said. You chose wrong. When he falls, he will not catch you. She stalked out, leaving the envelope of photos on the table. Lola scooped them up, hands shaking, and took the subway straight to the mansion, because she refused to arrive in one of Aries' cars like a panicked damsel. She dropped the envelope on his desk. They had someone following Owen, she said. She wants me to bug your summit. He sorted through the photos, his expression going from controlled to lethal. They crossed a line. He said, I will increase security at the hospital, quietly. Thank you, Lola said, the words rough on her tongue, because she did not owe him gratitude, but she still felt it. He looked up. You told her no, he said. It was not a question. I am many things, Lola said. Career mistake collector, sarcasm enthusiast, reluctant stand-in. But I am not Cohen's spy. You think I will fire you when you stop being convenient, he said slowly. I think people in your world treat everything as replaceable, she replied. Staff, buildings, stand-ins. His gaze held hers. You are not replaceable, he said. Heat flooded her cheeks. She covered it with a scoff. Careful, she said. You are starting to sound like a man with feelings. He almost smiled. Then she pulled out a second document. Aries, she said. I want out. It was a termination agreement, drafted by a lawyer friend of Mia's in exchange for a lifetime supply of croissants. You would walk away? He asked. Now? Yes, she said. I will pay back what you spent on Owen in installments. I will keep helping you, but as myself, not as a ghost. He stared at the paper like it was written in another language. You are not doing this because of Miranda, he said. You are doing it because of me. I am doing it because I cannot keep splitting myself in half, she said. Because I like who I am when I am Lola. Because pretending to be someone else to save good causes does not feel noble anymore, it just feels twisted. He picked up the pen. Lola, he said, voice lower than she had ever heard it. Do not make this harder, she said. You promised me a clean exit. He signed. There, he said. You are free. The word landed like both a bruise and a bandage. Thank you, she said. She packed that night, choosing what to take from the walk-in closet. She left most of the dresses. They were never really hers. At the front gate, Karen intercepted her with a cardboard box. Non-perishables from the pantry, she said stiffly. No one will miss them. Lola blinked. Is this your version of a hug? She asked. Because it is working. Do not cry, Karen said. There are cameras. Mia pulled up in a borrowed car, leaning out the window. You ready to downgrade from crystal chandeliers to flickering fluorescents? She yelled. Always, Lola said. As the mansion shrank in the rearview mirror, Lola realized something. For the first time in months, every step she took was hers. 3 months later, Sweet Riot was real. The tiny corner bakery in Brooklyn was painted mint green and sunshine yellow. The chalkboard outside read, No, we do not take exposure as payment. Mia balanced a tray of cinnamon rolls on her hip and scrolled her phone with her free hand. You went viral again, she said. The clip of you telling that influencer, we pay rent with dollars, not with tags, get 1 million views. Do we get a rent discount at $1 million? Lola asked, piping frosting onto cupcakes. No, then back to work. Owen sat at the corner table, textbooks open, writing slowly. He looked stronger. The scar peeking from under his collar was proof the surgery had worked. The bell over the door jingled. We are full, Lola called without looking up. Take a number or bribe us with compliments. I brought money, a familiar voice said. And maybe a problem. Her hand froze. Aries Walker stood near the door, looking unfairly good under fluorescent lighting. His suit jacket was open, tie gone, shirt sleeves rolled up. He looked less like a cold brand and more like a man who had remembered how to breathe. Mia's eyes went wide. Oh, this is better than cable, she whispered. Lola forced herself to move, sliding a tray into the display. We do not do mergers here, she said. Just sugar. Aries approached the counter. Nice place, he said. I like the chalkboard threats. We call it radical honesty, she said. What do you want? Coffee, he said. And 3 of whatever will convince my board I am not a complete disaster. That pastry does not exist, she said. But we have brownies. As Mia prepared his order, he leaned in. The shareholder summit is next week, he said. We have enough evidence. We are ready. We. She repeated. You said you would help us yourself. He reminded her. I am cashing that in. She wiped her hands on her apron. You want me to stand on stage and tell a room full of rich people that I was their favorite tragic icon's stunt double, she said. I want you to tell the truth, he said. You have recordings. You have testimony. You can help me expose Miranda and Cohen without letting them paint you as the mastermind. Mia leaned over the pastry case. If you do not say yes, I will, she said. That room needs your chaos energy. Lola thought of Miranda's threat. When he falls, he will not catch you. She thought of Owen's pill schedule pinned to the fridge, of Sweet Riot's rent, of how easily stories got twisted when poor kids crossed wealthy people. You said you would repay every cent, Aries said. You are doing it. This is not about money anymore. What is it about then? She asked. About making sure people like Miranda do not keep using people like you as props, he said. He met her gaze. I cannot promise it will not be messy, he said. But I can promise that I will not let you stand there alone. Something in her loosened. Fine, she said. I will do it, on one condition. He smiled faintly. Of course. You introduce me as Lola, she said. Not as Surya. Not as a tragic stand-in. Just Lola. Deal, he said. The day of the summit, Walker Group's auditorium buzzed with tension. Cameras lined the back. Reporters murmured. Shareholders checked their phones. Backstage, Lola adjusted the cuffs of her blazer. She wore black pants, sneakers, a simple shirt. No diamonds. Hair in her usual ponytail. You look like you are about to sue God, Mia whispered. In a good way. Aries joined them, tie straight, expression calm but eyes bright. Ready? He asked. No, she said. Let us do it anyway. On stage, he ran through the usual numbers, charts, projections, polite applause. Then he shifted. There is another matter, he said. One that involves the integrity of this company and of our partnerships. He looked toward the wings. Lola, he said. Will you join me? She walked out, heart thudding. The screens behind them showed her in gowns beside Aries at past events. Gasps rippled through the crowd. My name is Lola Pate, she said into the mic. I am a baker from Brooklyn. For several months, I worked for Walker Group as a stand-in. She let that sink in. Some of you met me at galas and thought you were meeting Surya Katrai. She continued. You were not. You were meeting a girl whose brother needed a transplant, and who signed a contract she is not proud of. Murmurs. She clicked a remote. The screen behind them split. On one side, press photos of Surya at events with Aries. On the other, the real Surya's passport and social media posts on the same dates from London. The real Surya has not set foot in New York for 3 years, Lola said. So who has been using her name? New images appeared. Miranda at events in Surya's signature style. Date stamps lined up with Cohen meetings, captions tying Walker Group and Surya together. Miranda Cohen, Lola said. Daughter of Aries' biggest rival. She posed as Surya for years, gaining access to private meetings, donor lists, and internal conversations. She played the short audio clip of Cohen raging about offshore accounts. I recorded that while doing the job I was paid for, she said. Standing quietly in the background, while powerful men forgot I was there. The room exploded. Miranda jumped to her feet in the front row. This is a lie, she shouted. Those photos are out of context. That recording is illegal. Security will escort you and Mr. Cohen to a conference room. Aries said, calm again. Investigators are waiting. Cohen grabbed Miranda's arm, face pale. You think this cleans you? Miranda yelled at Aries. You hired a stand-in. You lied. Yes, Lola said into the mic, before Aries could reply. He did. So did I. All eyes swung to her. I signed that contract because my brother was dying, she said. I chose survival. That does not make the choice right, but it does make it mine. Miranda chose to weaponize someone else's face to steal information and threaten families. Those are not the same thing. She looked out at the cameras and glossy shoes and nervous eyes. People like me grow up feeling invisible in rooms like this, she said. We bus tables. We pour drinks. We refill coffee. You do not learn our names. You use us as scenery, but we hear everything, and we are done being props. For a long heartbeat, the room held its breath. Then someone began to clap. The sound spread, slow at first, then rolling through the auditorium. Backstage later, reporters shouting questions at security down the hall. Lola sagged against a wall. Her hands still shook. Mia threw herself at her. "You lit them on fire," she said. "I am so proud I might explode." Aries approached, less polished than he had been on stage. The mask had slipped, the man remained. "You were." He searched for a word. "Unemployed?" she offered. "Brave," he said. She blew out a breath. "I was mostly terrified," she admitted. "But I am glad I did not have to stand there by myself." His gaze softened. "You never have to stand by yourself again," he said quietly. She felt something in her chest tilt. "Do not say things like that unless you mean them," she said. "I do," he answered. Spring in New York arrived like a promise and a dare. Sweet Riot overflowed. People came for the cinnamon buns and stayed for the chalkboard quotes. Aries became a regular. Sometimes he came in suits between meetings. Sometimes he showed up in jeans and a baseball cap, slipping into line like everyone else. He always paid, always tipped, and always waited his turn even when people whispered his name. He asked about Owen's checkups. He asked about rent. He asked about new recipes. He listened. He did not push. One afternoon, Owen wandered behind the counter, pretending to look for napkins. "You know he is in love with you," Owen said. Lola nearly dropped a tray. "Do you mind?" Owen smirked. "He looks at you like the last cookie in the jar," he said. "And you look at him like a Starbucks drink you want, but do not trust." "That metaphor is illegal," she said. "Just saying," he said. "Most people with money only show up when they need something. He keeps showing up when he does not." That night, Lola lay awake, thinking about contracts and choices and how much had changed. She had walked into his life as a stand-in, sure she would never be anything else. Now he came to her space, on her terms. On Sweet Riot's one-year anniversary, the bakery was packed. Mia had gone wild with balloons. Owen manned the music. In the chaos, Mia grabbed Lola's arm. "Back room," she hissed. "Now, if a pipe burst, I am crying," Lola said, but she followed. In the storage room, surrounded by flour bags, Aries stood holding a small white box. He looked nervous. "If that is a lawsuit, I am not signing it," Lola said. "It is cake," he said. "And something else." He opened the box. Inside was a mini cake, frosted simply. In neat icing, it read, "Thank you for standing up." Her throat tightened. Owen came up with the words. Aries said. Mia supervised. "I just paid and carried it in without dropping it. That is the hardest part," she said, voice rough. He took a small velvet box from his pocket. Her heart stopped. "If you propose with a ring in my storage room, I will throw flour at you," she warned. "It is not that," he said quickly. "I know we are not there. Yet. Yet," she repeated, pulse racing. "Open it," he said. Inside was a simple silver ring shaped like a tiny whisk. She burst out laughing, tears spilling over. "You are ridiculous," she said. "And weirdly on brand. I wanted to ask you something," he said. "Not a marriage, a different kind of proposal." "You keep making it worse," she said. He drew a breath. "Lola Pate," he said. "Will you let me be in your life without a contract? No roles, no stand-in clauses, just you and me, figuring it out. Will you let me stand next to you when things are good, not just when they are on fire? As your partner in whatever way you are ready for. Business, friendship, something more." The storage room felt very small. "You are really bad at simple questions," she said. "Most people start with, 'Do you want dinner?' I tried that," he said. "You told me you charge by the hour." "That was before," she said. She looked at the whisk ring. It was not an engagement ring. It was an invitation to write a story, without someone else's Euro trademark script. The girl who signed away a year in a glittering restaurant would have said no out of self-defense. The woman who had walked out of a mansion and built a bakery from nothing thought about how he had shown up. He had signed her termination even when it hurt his interests. He had stood beside her on stage and let her tell the worst parts of his story and her own. He had kept coming back, not to fix her life, but to share it. She closed the box and shoved it into his palm. "Put it on me," she said. "Before I change my mind." His fingers were steady as he slid the ring onto her hand. It fit like it belonged there. "Is that a yes?" he asked quietly. "It is a yes with conditions," she said. "No contracts, no secret clauses, no stand-ins. If you screw up, we talk. If I freak out, you listen. We do this like adults, not like a business deal." "Agreed," he said. "Also," she added, If you ever call me your white moonlight, I will dump batter on your head. Noted, he said, smiling in a way she had never seen before. Soft, unguarded. Can I hug you? He asked. If you ask for consent one more time, I might marry you out of respect, she said, stepping into his arms. He laughed, relieved, and pulled her close. His heartbeat thudded against her cheek. Flour dusted his suit. Outside, Mia banged on the door. If you two are not at least kissing, I am demanding a refund from the universe, she yelled. Lola groaned. We have no privacy, she muttered. Aries rested his forehead against hers. We can kiss another time, he murmured. I am in no rush. Good answer, she said. I like you better without a deadline. They walked back into the bakery together. Mia spotted the ring and screamed. Owen whistled. Customers clapped without even knowing why. Lola held up her flour-dusted hand. I am not a stand-in anymore, she said, grinning so hard it hurt. Aries stood beside her, not in front of her, not behind her, but exactly where she wanted him. Once, she had signed a contract that turned her into someone else's shadow. Now, she was writing her own script, with her own name at the top. And if there was one thing Lola Pate knew for sure, it was this: she had never been anyone's replacement. She was the original. She always had been. And this time, the love story was hers.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.